Hello and welcome back for a Calculus 3 example problem. So because Calculus 3 is going to be so much involved with um, multivariate cases, unlike Calculus 1 and 2, which really only looked at single variables, we are going to have to kind of understand variables in a multivariate sense. So we need to be able to distinguish between scalars and vectors. So that's what the point of this problem is. Are the following quantities vectors or scalars? Well, the question then is, are we dealing with a quantity that has both direction and magnitude? This is a vector. Otherwise, it's a scalar. So we need to know, does the object have a direction? And not necessarily the unit itself. Maybe things go up in price or something like that, but that's not what we're talking about in this particular case for a direction. So you really have to think about this. And in this case, the first one asks, is the cost of a theater ticket a vector or a scalar? Well, obviously the cost of a theater ticket doesn't have any kind of direction. It just has a value that you need to pay. So this one is a scalar. The current in a river. Well, in this case, we're going to say this is a vector, because you can imagine that as I am watching this river flow, I can actually see a direction that it's flowing in, and it might change in direction. So this one definitely has both direction and magnitude. How about this one? The initial flight path from Houston to Dallas. Well, again, this is going to be a vector quantity, because the initial flight path from Houston to Dallas, there's a path that we have to follow when we're flying, so which implies a particular direction that you have to fly in. If you just flew willy-nilly, you might not ever land on Dallas, right? I guess if you could fly forever, maybe, but obviously a plane only can fly a limited distance. So if you just randomly chose a direction, you're not going to get to Houston. So this is definitely a quantity that has a direction to it, because we need to direct ourselves towards Dallas in this case. And then the final one is the population of the world. And again, this is just a scalar quantity. It has a value, but it doesn't have a particular direction to it. So there is the population of the world, by the way, could decline or it could increase, but that's not what we're asking for in terms of direction. So that's not a directionality. So population is just a scalar quantity. That's all that I have for this video. I hope to see you again